today to join us for this special program in which we're going to take a look at the Brattleboro Film Festival, the third annual Brattleboro Film Festival coming to downtown Brattleboro. The festival opens on Halloween, October 31st, Friday night, and runs through Sunday, November 9th. My name is Prudence Baird, and I'm an advisor to the Brattleboro Film Festival. I'm also on the steering committee. Before we jump in to take a look at coming attractions, so to speak, let's introduce ourselves and tell the audience a little bit about each one of us and our role in the festival. Let's start with you, Lissa.
Thanks, Prudence. I'm Lissa Weinman, and I'm the Vice President of the festival, and I also handle marketing and public relations.
I'm Mary Elder, and I'm President of the festival, and I'm also Chair of the Film Selection Committee.
And I'm Meg Lyons, and I serve on the selection committee with about 5 others.
Now, Mary, the festival takes place at the Latchis Theater in downtown Brattleboro, correct?
Yeah, that's right. Same as last year. It will be pretty similar to last year. The only difference being we run 10 days instead of 2 weeks. And we also will be having a opening reception at the hotel lobby of the Latchis.
So the opening reception is going to be on Halloween night, right?
Yes, that's
So
right,
is that going to compete with trick-or-treating? Or is it just going to be an alternate venue for people to go to?
Just treats.
Just treats,
Yeah.
okay, great. I should think that the downtown restaurants and merchants would be very happy about the Brattleboro Film Festival coming back into that
Yes.
period right after fall foliage. Meg, do you want to tell us how many people last year's festival brought to downtown Brattleboro?
We estimate about 3,000 people visited the festival during that 10-day period. And you know, a lot of them came to watch films, but a lot also came to watch a film, go to dinner, shop in downtown Brattleboro. So it's a time of the year when, you know, we're sort of between leave season, we're between holiday season, so it's a great time to fill Brattleboro streets with filmgoers and restaurant goers and shoppers.
And we have a couple of new restaurants that I've been dying to try in downtown Brattleboro, so I'm sure they're very happy that we're bringing 3,000 at least to downtown Brattleboro. Speaking of the economy, I'd like to take this moment to thank our sponsors who have helped underwrite this 10-day film festival. Let's begin with New Chapter, Brattleboro Savings and Loan, CNS Wholesale Grocers, Marlboro Grad Center, Tree Free Greetings, the Swedish Film Institute, the Latchis Theater, of course, and Outrageous. There's also many other individuals and businesses who have underwritten and given in-kind goods to the festival so that we can bring world-class cinema to Brattleboro and keep the ticket price affordable. Speaking of tickets, Lissa, do we have tickets available for our moviegoers?
We certainly do, Prudence. As some of the viewers might know, we have a desk that we set up in the Latchis lobby where we sell tickets. They're $10 a ticket. Seniors and kids under 14 pay $8. We're also selling 5 ticket passes. Basically, you buy 5 tickets in advance, and those are $40, so you get really $10 off what you would have paid, so that's great. And an all-festival pass for $140, which gains you VIP entry to all screenings without waiting online. We're selling them, pre-selling them at Everyone's Books, but we'll also be selling them at the desk in the Latchis lobby.
Okay, so Everyone's Books, 57 Elliott Street, if you want to get your tickets and passes in advance. I think that would make a dynamite early holiday gift. Don't you think? I know one cinephile I'm thinking of. Lissa, is there anything going on besides movies at this year's festival?
Well, there's so much going on because, as you know, we really try to create a lot of discussion around the films. There's 31 films over 10 days, so that's quite an array, and there's really something for everyone in this year's festival. So. Besides the opening night film, which is Pride, a real crowd pleaser, it was just nominated as probably the best feel-good movie of the year by the Daily Beast. I don't know if you had seen that review, but it's a wonderful, rowdy, rollicking, R-rated film that tells the story of lesbians and gays getting together with a mining town in Thatcher-era Britain to try to join the miners in their strike. And it's just fabulous. So we're so thrilled to be the Southern Vermont premiere, actually, of that film. And that's just been released, and it's getting rave reviews. So it's going to be a really exciting opening night. A couple other of the special events I'll just mention briefly are once again having our screenwriting workshop with Tim Metcalf, veteran film screenwriter. That will run the 2 Saturdays of the festival, and that's backed by popular demand because he did it last year. And a lot of scripts have come out of that, and a lot of nurturing independent filmmaking here in Brattleboro, which is, of course, part of the Brattleboro Film Festival's mission. Again, part of our mission, and I should have mentioned it before, is to reach out to young people. So we are actually offering those with valid high school IDs free tickets this year, which is really something. And we thank the John M. Bissell Foundation for helping us do that this year. But we're also going to be doing a Young Filmmakers Showcase. And the showcase will be on Saturday, November 7th from 7 to 9 p.m. And we'll be featuring films from people under 25, most of whom are here in Vermont, and every film has some connection to the state of Vermont. So we'll also be giving cash grants to 2 winners at that showcase. One a $500 prize for anyone under 25, and then a $250 prize for anyone under 18. So that's one way the festival is trying to give back to the community, encourage and nurture local filmmaking. And there's many other events, visiting directors, but let's hear maybe from some of the others on the films that everybody wants to hear about.
Well, I have a question, though. Is it too late to enter the Young Filmmakers Showcase?
Yes, the submissions closed last week.
All right, so
yes.
that's going to be Friday, November 7th.
Yes.
All right, very good.
And I should give a shout out to our young apprentices who have helped us put together the Youth Showcase. Sadie Holliday and Ian McPherson worked all summer to get submissions, and they are doing a great job. So just want to mention them.
Speaking of youth and films and all that, Mary, I understand that we have an anime feature in this year's festival.
Yeah, the film Padma, which is a Japanese film. It's a very unique and complicated kind of film in some ways. It's basically the story of a dystopian kind of world where it centers on this girl who lives down in tunnels and caves, and she's very adventurous and curious, and she wants to see what's in the outside world. So she ventures, and she falls into this pit, and she ends up on top of the world upside down. And she meets this boy, and they kind of hold each other around the waist to keep her from flying into the sky. So it's kind of like opposite gravitational worlds going on, and so it's very, very compelling to watch, to see how they carry out, and they decide to kind of find out the answers to how this happened and why things are like that. And it's beautifully animated. It's really something I think especially teens would like, because it's just very cool. I thought it was really cool. So
teens and adults.
Teens and adults, yes.
Padma Inverted is the name
That's
of the
correct,
film.
Padma Inverted.
Do we have a clip?
Yes, we do. We do have a clip.
Great.
Can we watch?
Once long ago, a terrible accident happened here.
My dad, he really liked looking at the sky.
You were in the danger zone.
Yeah, what's the big deal?
The rules forbid it!
What's wrong with you? You're upside down.
Can't you see for yourself? You're on the ceiling!
But I'm pretty sure you're the one on the ceiling. Here we go!
We're flying!
What you met near the fence was not human. You will forget her.
I'm going to save her.
Just hang on!
But I'd do whatever it takes to get you back there.
Well, yeah, it's pretty interesting anime. I think it's one of the better ones out there.
It's amazing to think it all began with Astro Boy. That's
I don't think I saw that one.
It's a baby boomer reference. Meg, there's some other animated movies too. Ernest and Celestine. Is The Boy in the World?
The Boy in the World is a very unique. It's Brazilian. It's there might be some subtitles in it. However, it's really not a very verbal film. It's more visual. It's really very beautifully animated, very uniquely animated, and it has a lot of adult themes underlying, but it also has a level that children can watch at as well. So I think adults and children could appreciate it on different levels.
I know that when Brattleboro Savings and Loan, one of our sponsors, saw or heard about Ernest and Celestine, they just jumped right on sponsoring that. It is such an adorable movie.
Yeah, well, it got nominated, Academy Award nominated last year.
Wow, okay.
So.
Are we going to see clips from those?
No.
Okay,
Sorry.
all right.
You'll have to come see the movie.
It's interesting that Ernest and Celestine has an all-star cast of voices. It's
that's
incredible, the stars that are well.
right.
One, Forrest Whitaker's one, but really of note is it was Lauren Bacall's last
Oh my
film.
gosh.
Yeah, so people will recognize voices, and it's just an absolutely charming story.
Oh, she had such a great
Yeah,
voice.
it is it's like a classic type
Yeah,
story.
and of course, all of this animation, as usual with the festival, is appropriate for adults and children alike. Really, it's intelligent for the kids, and it's captivating for the adults. So,
And that's the way it should be,
Yes.
since adults come to the movies with kids.
right. And on those family screenings, by the way, during the day, the tickets are $5 for children under 12.
Oh, even more reason.
for certain films.
For
yeah.
the daytime,
Yeah.
children's
The kids'
screenings.
Right.
Meg, last year's festival paid tribute to Vermont filmmaker Nora Jacobson with a huge splash for the Vermont movie, which is 6 installments of one big documentary about the history of Vermont. I understand that we have another Vermont filmmaker featured in this year's festival. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
We do, and we're very excited about this. Each year the selection committee tries to find films that have some link to Vermont in some way, and this year the film is called The Forgotten Kingdom, and it's filmed by a director, Andrew Mudge, whose family lives in Vermont. And despite what you might think by the title, it's not about the Northeast Kingdom. It's a very visual, epic drama that takes place in Lesotho in Africa. And this is a very tiny country that's sort of landlocked by South Africa. For those of you who remember doing geography, where you colored in the little countries, it's like a little island floating in South Africa. The film is really of epic proportions. It has a little bit of everything, and it makes a very powerful impact. It's about coming of age. It's about reconnecting with one's roots, finding identity. There's family conflict. There's a wonderful romance. And I think one of the most unique parts of the movie is this pilgrimage on horseback that 2 of the characters have, in which they traverse this very mountainous country, which is just spectacular. So the film opens in Johannesburg, and that's the city where many men from Lesotho go to find work. But very quickly the action takes us to Lesotho. So we do have a clip of this, so we could take a look at it.
Super.
O bona eng ha o butse mahlo
ya o kudile first funeral e gafile o tlo patelwa ko Lesotho la.
Tseno ngwana o rona mmoko go yena o tloba lefatsheng lena re busetsa mmele wa hae.
Na wa ngopola gore ke mang? Ke ne ke sa lebela go bona gape.
Ke maotla di hopolang dilemo tse tsotlhe tse.
Go tuna le tšhelete. Tabena ya gore ka kamoreng ka moo.
O hlokomele. Tatai, ha se sebapalo.
Ke moditšhaba naheng le ana hlompho.
Hobane motho jalo ntate o tseba go motho o tlile mona hore a tlo boloka ntate wa hae.
Mosane ene o hlompholotseng ntatai.
A o utlwisise mona. A ke sa le motho wa mona.
Empa ke wena eno. Entse e reng wena dimpo? Re di khutsa. Nna le wena.
O bona eng? Ha o butse mahlo.
It is, and I just want to point out that this film had the vote of everyone on the selection committee. That's not always the case, but we were all just mesmerized by this film. And it took 7 years to complete. It's been winning awards not just in Africa at festivals there, but across the US. And it's the first feature, as you might imagine, ever to be made in Lesotho. And it was quite a challenge. This is a country which has mostly rough dirt roads. There are no professional actors and no movie industry, so it was quite a journey. The really special thing that we're very pleased about is that Andrew Mudge, the filmmaker, will be here in Brattleboro, and he'll be at the screening of the film and do a Q&A afterwards. He lived in Lesotho for a year in order to make the film and to gather stories to make it as authentic as possible. So actually interviewing people to make sure the film was as authentic as possible, and it really does show. Everything comes together in this film. So we hope you'll all come out and see Andrew and meet him and hear his story.
And what was really impressive about Forgotten Kingdom, really, I thought, was beyond the set, which is, the setting is incredible, and the landscapes are terrific, but the acting was phenomenal. Excellent acting, including that of the little boy who I understand won the African equivalent of the Academy Award for his performance.
Right.
So he's really a treat to see the acting in that film.
And he is one of several child actors that you're going to see at the festival this year. We've got some incredibly professional, first-rate acting by children who are 9, 10, 11, 12 years old. But he's a particularly spunky fellow, has a great film presence.
He is, and again, the presence of the children as characters in the film speaks to something that the festival has always prided itself on, which is to present intergenerational stories. And that's one of the most fascinating aspects. It goes beyond we try to grow beyond stereotypes in the festival, and this year is certainly no exception.
Yeah. The next film I want to just tell our audience about and share with all of you is a documentary, again an award-winning film called Starfish Throwers, and it's about 3 of the most amazing people in the world you will ever meet. All of them, they do not know each other, but all of them are very passionate about working to end hunger. And they all believe in the power of that is in each and every one of us to change the world. There's a 13-year-old, another child, of course, there's a 13-year-old girl from the US. There's a former 5-star chef from India who quits his job, and a retired teacher who lives and works in Minneapolis for the poor and the homeless. And I'm going to say, let's move to the clip right now, because you will get introduced to all of these characters. And you will be simply amazed at what you see here.
Thank you.
Some people approach an issue and say, well, this issue is too big, I can't do anything about it. But you never know what can grow from just one thing.
I had a passion for cooking, and that's the reason I took up a specialization as a chef. I was working 6 months when I saw a very old man. He was having his own human waste for hunger. I was totally shocked. So I took breakfast and gave it to that old man. He ate those so very fast, eyes full of tears, and he gave me a look of gratitude. That was a silent revolution of self-realization. I'm going to quit my job. So slowly I started feeding 1, 2, 3, 4. So far, from 2002, we could have served 1.9 million food to these people.
If they say food is love, then it's truly, it is inspired so much love.
After seeing how many people that my cabbage fed, I thought, one cabbage helped to feed 275 people. Now, how many people do you think one garden could help feed? And after starting that one garden at my house, I asked my school. And then it just kind of snowballed from there.
We have 40 acres. I said, whatever you need, we can start clearing.
There will be 47 Katie's Crops gardens growing across the United States this spring.
And these are going to go to families that don't have anything. The sandwiches that you made this morning are going to be eaten tonight by people that have no place to stay.
Last year, I passed out 750,000 sandwiches. I have 10 freezers in my apartment. The last time I slept in a bed was 12 years ago. I sleep in a van at night, 1 or 2 hours. And now I know I need more sleep because I've got some health problems.
Thank you very much.
But people ask me why I do this. I said, if I was homeless and I was hungry and someone brought me a sandwich, I'd say, thank you.
The joy of giving and joy of sharing is a universal thing you can do with anybody. If that thought is penetrated among the minds of everybody, this world will be a beautiful place to live in.
When I planted that seedling, I didn't think that any of this would happen.
Just makes you want to cry just watching.
I get chills every time I
Yeah.
watch this. Our hope is that families will come with their children to watch this film, to experience the examples that these people have. I think there's some great life lessons for kids, but also the film is important for adults, because I don't think there's any of us that watches this film and doesn't feel a reawakening of dreams we had when we were younger to make the world a better place. So all around, it's a great film. In keeping with the film's message about helping end hunger, we're very pleased that the festival will be donating $1 for every ticket sold to the Starfish Throwers, and it'll be donated to the Brattleboro area drop-in center's food shelf specifically.
Fantastic.
So you do good for others by doing good for yourself and coming out to see the Starfish Throwers.
Yes.
Great, great. And thanks to our sponsor, CNS Wholesale Grocers, which is partially underwriting this film. When I look at our lineup of films, especially the environmental ones, I often think of that, or I think of that quote by Victor Hugo, how sad that nature speaks and mankind doesn't listen. But we have a number of intrepid documentary filmmakers who are listening and documenting what is going on our planet, and it's nothing can be more important than the planet Earth in my book. So I'd like Mary to tell us a little bit about one in particular, Angel El Sul. I know that we have the image on our poster.
Yeah.
And can you tell us a little bit about the film and what about that guy with the typewriter?
Underwater.
Well, the film is directed by Marcy Cravat, and it focuses on the artist Jason DeCaires Taylor, who does these life sculptures. And he's not just of people, but of objects as well. And the idea is to set them, they're off the coast of the Yucatan, to kind of rebuild the coral reef. These art pieces are used as a basis for new coral and to build on. And so you see them change, and it's like art in transformation. It's a really interesting and beautifully, it's just beautiful to see. But it's an interesting combination of art and environmentalism. And it's a very positive story about somebody trying to fix things, and help things. It's narrated by Peter Coyote, who some people will know. It's a familiar voice. He does a lot of narration. But it's just, we have a clip, so we can see.
Scientists are predicting that in 50 years we would have lost almost 70% of our natural reefs.
There are a vast number of different factors killing coral reefs.
Things have changed so rapidly in the last 100 years since the Industrial Revolution.
It's time. Now we know that everything connects.
Can we reverse what we've set in motion?
It's amazing what happens to these sculptures when they're left underwater for so long. And can you imagine being scuba diving and coming across those? It's incredible.
Well, people scuba dive to go see them.
To go see them. It's an underwater display. That's what's on our poster.
Yeah.
And they're not just beautiful, but they make a statement about the environment and our relationship with the world. I mean, his artwork is so thoughtful and really beautifully executed.
And made in combination with nature, because things grow upon it.
Yeah.
It's like really incredible.
Yeah, it is.
It's a beautiful environmental film and an art film all in one, and it's underwritten by our new sponsor, New Chapter. Very appropriate.
But we should also probably just mention that there's several environmentally themed films, including the area premiere of The Great Invisible, which is the first real examination of the oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico recently, and it tells a story of the corporate side of it and the environmental side of it, and it's an absolutely incredible film also. So there's The Great Invisible.
We're lucky to get that film because it's actually going to be just premiering in California a week before we have it.
Yeah, it's just out. So it's another
brand new
premiere that we're doing. Sand Wars, which talks about the lack of sand worldwide. Who knew?
Not
for building.
No, we'll find out.
And also the Joanna Macy and The Great Turning also is environmental themes as well.
Yes, actually Joanna Macy will be playing before Star Wars.
No, Starfish.
Starfish Stories. Excuse me.
So there's several environmentally themed features for people to come see this year.
Right, right. We always have the best lineup of environmental films. I'm so appreciative.
Yeah.
We also pride ourselves on finding films with broad appeal that would not otherwise be shown in Brattleboro. Meg, I'm thinking of Mother, I Love You, which is from Latvia. That's as remote to me as Lesotho.
Right, and it's not a place that most of us have visited, I would imagine, and may never get to visit, so we can go there on film. Mother, I Love You is also happens to be Latvia's submission for the Academy Award nomination for Best Foreign Language Film earlier this year. That was the 2014 Academy Awards. And this, it's a feature, a full-length feature, and it's again, a story which has a wonderful 12-year-old, endearing, charming little boy. And it's a coming-of-age tale. He is a saxophone-playing member of the school band, adorable, but this is a little boy who gets into a lot of trouble.
Mischievous.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of trouble, and he reminds us through his poor decisions of probably the bad decisions we all made when we were that age. And Raymond's, he tells a little lie, and from that little lie, things begin to snowball, and his life starts to get very quickly out of control, and the stakes are getting much higher because he's now not just getting sent to the principal's office, but he's at the police station. So the action begins to escalate. He and his mom, who is a single parent, have their a very interesting relationship filled with all the conflicts, but the love that most teenagers and their parents experience. So why don't we just take a look? Here's a clip from Mother, I Love You.
Varētu šis, ka dzīve bērnībā ir viegla, cītīgi jāmācās.
Levits, tu idiot! Labs.
Jākrāj kabatas nauda. Jāklausās pārmetumos.
Pārunāt, uzvedību. Mācies un spēlē saksofonu. Vakarā pārbaudīšu.
Tas ir līdz brīdim, kad nonāc tādās ziepēs, no kurām izkļūt var jau tikai pieaugušais.
Stop! Uz kurieni tu taisies? Pie sociālā vispirms un bez piezīmes nerādies. No solnotas sākam.
Klausies, es būšu vēl. Man šovakar ir dežūra. Es taču tev varu atstāt vienu, vai ne?
Mierīgi. Pēter! Ew, pečka!
Starp visām drēbēm guli.
Vakar bija ārā.
Cikos?
Es to zinu, ka tu mēs nebūs. Nav vīna.
Es nevaru katru dienu atnākt mājās, pieķert tev klēņojumu vai vēl nezinu, ko tu skaties uz mani, kad es ar tev runāju.
Studija Tanka piedāvā bērnības sirdsēsti un prieki.
Klausies, mums vienam otru jātāk, dzirdi?
Draudzība un nodevība. Dēkas un pārpratumi.
Kas tev notiek, mazais ķēps?
Jaunajā spēlfilmā Mamma, es tevi mīlu.
It's a magnificent film. Very powerful performances, beautifully, artfully shot. And again, it's one that children, we think probably 9 and up, could understand and take some life lessons from.
Yeah.
It's also a film about parenting.
Yes.
Those of us on the selection committee who first viewed it thought that there were a lot of lessons about parenting that we can learn from this film, about things we say to our children that we later regret, how we say things to them that they interpret. So it's an interesting film at both levels, children and adults. And we just hope you'll come out and see it. It's been playing at children's festivals as well as adult festivals and winning awards. So it's one for your list. The next film that I want to talk about takes us to North America, and we're going to land outside of Los Angeles in the desert. And this is another feature-length drama called Lake Los Angeles. And we first meet a middle-aged man, Francisco, who is a Cuban immigrant, and he's working at a holding house for illegals. And it's there that he meets a 10-year-old Mexican girl, Cecilia, who has just crossed the border on her own. So her mother is back in Mexico. She is completely alone in the world. And as you can imagine, this is a very timely tale about immigration, though that word never, ever appears anywhere in the movie. It's also about loneliness and struggling to make the American dream work. but it's told in a very haunting, magical way. The combination of the photography, the acting, is really a very, very intelligent film. And there is a charisma about Francisco, and I think an aura about this, again, a young child actor, 10 years old, that you just cannot take your eyes off of them when they're on screen. They so absorb your attention. And they tell a story about not just their lives, but the place in which they're living. And it's got just layers of themes. It's very poignant, very tender film. So let's take a look at it right now.
Yo vi la nieve una vez. Mi mamá me llevó. Ella guardó dinero y me llevó a las montañas. Cuando llegamos, todo estaba cubierto con blanca nieve. Mi mami y yo sobre la nieve. Fue hermoso.
Yeah,
It's haunting.
All the communication that goes on between those two actors, the man and the child, is conveyed so much in there without words.
Yeah.
It's a really wonderful film.
And her whisperings really make it almost like a fairy tale.
Yes.
Except it's real life. I think, this film has been called highly intelligent. It's been very highly rated. And as you say, Prudence, we don't always get films coming to Brattleboro that are indie films. And the festival gives us an opportunity to showcase those films that are just sleepers out there. They can't compete with Hollywood, blockbuster Hollywood films, but they're more than worthy of our attention. And I think audiences will love this film. It's especially true for people who love the cinema and love understanding what goes into making a great film. I don't think it's any coincidence that this particular film, the filmmaker Mike Ott teaches film directing at the University of Southern California. And so he's very intelligently and artfully put this film together. And it's the third in a trilogy that he's had out over the past couple of years. And this one, they say, is the finest of the three.
Oh, we're so fortunate. I've found that these kinds of movies actually stay with me longer than the big blockbusters or the ones with their jam-packed with the latest Hollywood actor-actress combination that they think Hollywood thinks will work well together. I can't remember the plot of any of those, but the movies like this I can remember for years and years and decades to come. So I can't wait to see this.
Yeah. Well, it challenges you to think rather than just telling you what to think.
Right.
Yeah, and it's storytelling at its best, really. And we all respond to those eternal stories. And so many of the stories this year, I've noticed, really do get to that fundamental parent and child relationship also. So while we don't go after themes with the festival, they tend to emerge. And that is a strong theme this year.
And at a good time for humanity, too. I have something here about the American dream being interpreted by different cultures coming to America, and this one seems particularly interesting because that is, again, the reworking of a classic American story. The American dream is unique to our country. Now we're seeing it through the eyes of immigrants from Central and South America and North America, being Mexico. But there's also a couple of other films that are about hardship and the pursuit of the American dream and what people bump up against while doing that. Do you have, can you tell us about those?
Well, I just saw Overnighters, which is a documentary by Jesse Moss, which has been, again, garnering prizes left and right. It was premiered at Sundance, I believe. And it's just been making waves wherever it goes because the story is so difficult to pin down, but so compelling. It's about a preacher in North Dakota who opens their church to these mostly men who come from all over the world, all over the country, to North Dakota to get jobs on oil rigs and fracking. So these people come from everywhere to get these jobs. But not all of them get the jobs, not all of them get them so fast, and many of them can't afford to live anywhere because it's gotten so expensive. So the story operates on many different levels. You get up close and personal with this pastor, and you start to really understand his very Christian motivations for opening the church, but the tensions that are created in the surrounding town and the kinds of hurdles he has to jump through personally and the toll it takes on his family, on himself, and at the end, just a stunning surprise ending. The film is incredible. I don't know, do we have a clip of that to look at too? Well, let's show the folks this one.
Oh, no,
'cause
wait
this
a
is-
minute.
do we have it?
We don't. I'm sorry, we don't.
Well, you'll have to come see it at the festival then, or take a look at the trailers on the website.
Yeah.
Because
Sorry.
it's really, it's about class struggle, it's about the meaning of community. It's just a wonderful film, and you shake your head and say, I can't believe this is a documentary. It really feels much more like a dramatic feature, and it's an incredible film, Overnighters. I'm just trying to think, a lot of the films deal with that issue of work and labor and the need for work.
The other one is Bluebird.
That's right.
Bluebird.
Which, even though we're going to jump to Maine for Bluebird, the story and its themes are very similar. It's about the 99% who struggle, who are on the margins, and are just getting by, if that. And Bluebird was shot in a logging town in northern Maine in winter.
Yes.
Best wear a winter coat to the theater when you go to see this
very chilling film.
It is chilling in lots of ways. And it's the story, again, of a small town, and there is, let's call it an accident that occurs. It's not something that was intentional, but again, it starts to, things start to unravel very quickly, and lots of people in the town are pulled in, particularly these two very dysfunctional families. We're hoping to have the filmmaker with us. That will remain to be seen.
Lance Edmonds.
That's right.
And it's an 8:30 show, and
on Thursday,
Q&A.
November 6th.
Yeah.
It's a show that we believe will resonate with people anywhere in New England.
And beyond, obviously,
Yeah.
because it's, as you said, it brings two families into conflict, and it has overtones of The Great Hereafter, if you remember that film about the school bus.
Yeah, I agree with that.
The accident with the school bus.
Right.
Yeah, because the action does start with the school bus here.
It seems to go several steps further. So it's a real, it's full of tension and suspense. It's a wonderful, wonderful film.
And if that doesn't get you off your seat and into the theater, what we will say is that even though it's a small indie film, there are some very big names appearing in the film. John Slattery from Mad Men is one of them.
Yes.
A completely different role than what he plays in Mad
absolutely.
Men. Absolutely, at the other end of the spectrum. And he's wonderful to watch, to see him in a very different, playing a very different character.
And Adam Driver, one of my favorites from the show Girls, is also in that film, and he is very cute. and very appealing. And so I was very surprised to see him in this film as well.
What a great cast.
Yeah, no, it's and Amy
Morton.
Amy Morton, yeah. So it's a terrific cast.
Yeah.
Wonderful film.
There's a lot of great dramas this year. Some people, some years past we've had a lot of documentaries, but this year it's a fairly even split between these incredible dramatic features and documentary, which is what our public's been asking for. So thank you, Film Selection, for delivering that with your work throughout the year.
There was one film that seemed to be a documentary when I first saw it, and then I realized as it moved on, wait a minute, this is scripted. And that is a movie called The Special Need, which has special meaning to me. It's about, first of all, the film is Italian and German, and it's by Carlo Zarati, is the director. And it follows the story of a young man, Enya, who is, I believe, 21. And like all of the world, when you're 21, you are drawn into wanting the things that everyone has, or it seems that everyone else has. The secret is, P.S., not everyone else has them. But he wants to be in love. He wants a girlfriend. And he wants to be in a significant other relationship. So he's having a hard time getting that because he has autism. And as the mother of a young man who also has autism, I see this through those lenses. And I will say that this movie captures the heartache, the heartbreak, and also the other side of that, which is the beauty of autism and the kinds of people who come to support an individual with autism and a family with autism in the journey that we all must make from cradle to grave. It's a very meaningful movie. It's a buddy movie. It's a road movie. It's a movie about love. It's a movie about the largest minority in the world, which is developmentally disabled people. How often do we see them on the silver screen? Not very often. This is a very tender portrait of someone from that large minority, and I really hope that everyone comes out and sees it. Do we have a clip of The Special Need?
Allora, mi chiamo Enea Gabino, ho 27 anni, sono alto 1,78 m. Sono un super iper mega ragazzo, dolce, romantico, sexy.
No, sexy no. È un ragazzo incredibile, di un'energia unica, frizzante, come dice lui.
Lui, più di tutto, desidererebbe una fidanzata.
Non riesco a trovare ancora una ragazza perché sono un po' picchiatello. E la vacanza dopo ho conosciuto la mia ex morosa Alessandra.
Qui scordatelo, all'estero sai che le cose vanno decisamente meglio, no?
Looks like a road film.
It is.
It's a road trip. It's a road trip and a buddy
quite
movie.
a road trip, yeah.
And they have quite a journey.
Oh, yeah.
It's one of my favorite films.
Yeah.
It's just fun.
Thanks for.
It's just fun.
And he has a lot of things to teach his friends and
Yes.
all of us. Yeah.
It's always a two-way street.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to hear what you write about this film, because I know that you're writing about this movie and the Commons supplement that will come out and basically functions as the program for the Brattleboro Film Festival. So I'll be really eagerly waiting to hear your further insights about the film.
Okay, no pressure, but so the Commons supplement comes out on the 22nd. Is that right?
No, the Commons will run an insert which functions as the Brattleboro Film Festival program, and that comes out the Wednesday before the festival starts.
All right.
Which is October 29th, Wednesday, October 29th.
All righty.
So people can get that and pull out the insert and have our full schedule and everything. But of course, it's all available on the website as well.
And the website is www.brattleboro-filmfestival.org.
That's right.
Not .com, but .org. Because we are, I forgot to mention this, we are an all-volunteer nonprofit. So everyone here is a volunteer. It's staffed by volunteers. It's run by volunteers. We are a nonprofit, and we always accept checks.
Tax deductible.
It's tax deductible, and we're very grateful again to all of our sponsors. There's one category we haven't really covered yet. Just we've tangentially touched upon it, the LGBT films. Mary, do you want to take a stab at some of those?
Well, of course, our opening film is a film that would be of interest to everybody, and the LGBT, community in particular.
Pride.
Pride, which is kind of a big coup for us to be able to get that film. There's been a lot of buzz about it. It's a very, looks wonderful. We actually haven't seen it yet, but we knew enough about it that we knew we wanted it.
The Latchis might want to hold that film over.
Yeah, that would be great if
that's
if
happened
enough
before.
People, yeah. But we have some others as well. We have a film called The Circle, which is a film from Switzerland, and it's a unique kind of combination of drama and documentary, kind of interspliced with each other. It's the true story of these two men who fell in love. So it's basically a love story, but it's set in 1958, and during a time when being gay was very much underground and persecuted. And so it's also about this underground organization and magazine called Der Kreis. And it's this love story, these two men fall in love, and it's also the kind of historical view of that time period. It's really well filmed and put together. It really draws you in. It's a real gem, and it's actually Switzerland's entry into the foreign film category of this coming Academy Awards.
Zu selber Zeit hat es etwa 2000 Abonnenten gehabt. Und jedes Heft ist von etwa 4 Personen gelesen worden, ganz im Versteck.
Ich habe da noch Ihre Wäsche.
Das Grossartigste am Kreis sind die Bälle gewesen. Das sind damals die einzigen schwulen Grossanlässe gewesen, weltweit.
Schön, dich da zu sehen. Ich weiß nicht, zu wem ich gehöre.
Wer ist sie? Das ist ein Er. Das kann nicht sein.
Ich habe den Ernst nicht gesehen an dem Tisch sitzen.
Nach Deutschland schmuggeln. Wem sollte das Leben retten?
Homosexualität ist in unserem Land nicht strafbar.
Nein, aber registrierbar.
Alles hat angefangen brüchig werden.
Sie wollen also Lehrer werden. Sie sind gar noch nicht gewählt.
Der Kreis ist mein Zuhause und das machst du mir nicht kaputt. Für mich wird es zum Gefängnis.
Wir sind doch kein Verbrecher. Wir sind kein Verbrecher.
Yeah, the two men that you see at the end of that clip are the real guys that the story portrays.
I thought they might be.
Yeah.
We have come such a long way as a country and as a world.
Yeah, still a ways to go, but it seems to be changing fast.
At least here.
Yeah.
Great, great. So there's a couple of other movies that we didn't touch on. 1971 and regarding Susan Sontag. Do you want to say a couple words about those?
Yeah, well, 1971 also, it plays after Pride on our opening night. And it's a very amazingly suspenseful. It also has a large part of it is enactment and dramatized. Very well done, very suspenseful, and it's about the break-in of the FBI offices in 1971, and many documents were sold, just regular, ordinary people, and it's an amazing story what they were able to accomplish. It's kind of a la Edward Snowden, only it was maybe the first time that something like that happened in this country, and so
And it's the first time that these people have come forth as in this film.
Yeah,
they were
they
never
were-
found. It was a group of 8
Yeah.
ordinary
Wow.
citizens.
Oh yeah, FBI went after them.
Ransacked
for
an
sure, but-
FBI
yeah.
office, stole documents, revealed documents that showed that the CIA and the FBI had been surveilling American citizens for quite some time, and it was the first real revelation of that type of surveillance in the United States. And up to the release of this film, those people had never been public about what they did.
Yeah.
So have they been
No, it's
prosecuted
really-
since then, or is there a statute that's expired?
Apparently, I can't imagine that they would all come out
if they weren't safe.
If they weren't safe to do that, yeah. I'm not quite sure about that. That's a good question, though. Yeah.
But there's a book that was just released that the film is.
And I've also was told that the film is been bought up by Hollywood, and they're going to be making a version of it.
Fantastic. So it's sort of like the analog version of WikiLeaks.
That's right.
All right.
And there's other political thrillers, documentary thrillers too. The Abby Albee, the Soft Vengeance film is an incredible.
Right, about the South African film where it's actually focused on a white man's role in that whole struggle. And another film that would be of interest to the LGBT community as well as everyone for many different reasons is the film regarding Susan Sontag, which is she was a literary icon in her day, and she also had relationships with women which informed her writing, and I think there will be a lot of interest in her and to find out things about her that they didn't know.
Great, great. Well, we've talked about a lot of movies here today. My head is spinning.
And there's many that we didn't even mention.
We skipped some, actually.
But again, to find out the whole schedule, is it up? It's up online right
Yes, it
now
is.
at our website,
Yeah.
which is BrattleBoroFilmFestival.org, to see all of the films and the times too, as well.
The
times,
films,
the days.
the trailers, the times, and any
10
other materials we have on them can be found
special
at the
events,
website.
right? We have 10 days of films, special events, kicking off with a party on opening night, Halloween night for us grown-ups, a party for us grown-ups, beginning at 5 p.m. And the first film, Pride, starts at 6:30 p.m., right?
That's right, and every evening 6:30 and 8:30 p.m. shows.
Okay, sounds good. And on weekends, Saturday and Sundays, it's going to be noon to 4:30, 6:30, and 8:30, right?
That's
No.
right.
4,
Noon to
4.
6:30, 8:30.
Like I said, check the website.
Sorry
But
about
also,
that.
people should also know that, again, because of the success last year, we're going to be repeating our Best in Fest countdown to the Best in Fest. So take those cards after you see a film seriously. Your vote does count. And if you vote for a film, it all gets tabulated on Saturday night, the night before the last day of the festival.
Special computer program.
And we will be repeating, named Mary Elder, and we will be repeating the top 3 and then the Best in Fest at 8:30 p.m.
That's right.
So you'll have a
Fantastic.
chance to see the festival favorites as voted by you, the audience. So please do take those cards seriously, vote for your best film, and everyone can get a chance to see them again then on Sunday, November 9th, which is the closing evening of the festival.
So instead of saying to your friend, you should have seen this, you can say, and it's playing again in the Best in Fest. If it was that good, for sure it will be there.
Yes.
That's great. Well, I'd like to thank each and every one of you for coming today and talking
you.
about the films. And thank you for the wonderful films you selected. They really are amazing. I don't know how you guys do it. It's like magic or something. And
we're still seeking volunteers, show volunteers.
Oh,
So
right.
if people want to come and volunteer at a show, you actually get a free ticket to another screening if you do so. So that's incentive too.
And how, if I wanted to volunteer, what would I do?
You can, there are details on the website.
Okay, again, BrattleBoroFilmFestival.org.
That's correct.
All right, so our entire schedule is listed on our website, and a supplement coming out on the 29th.
That's right.
Right before the festival, which begins on Halloween. Thank you so much for tuning in today.
Thank you.
Thanks.